Hey you guys, welcome back to Dazzling Diamonds Boutique. I am back with another tutorial for you guys. Today we're going to be adding glitter HTV and rhinestones to a backpack. So stay tuned because this is one that you definitely don't want to miss. Okay, you guys, so welcome back. I hope everybody is doing well. I have been doing great. Business has been good. Okay, you guys, so let's jump straight into the tutorial. So I do use Silhouette Studio, and I'm going to be cutting out the rhinestone template first. So for the rhinestone template material, my force is at 33, my blade depth is 10, 2 passes, and I always keep my speed at 10. So I do like to use magic flock from the rhinestoneworld.com, but I don't have any right now, so I'm just using regular flock. And right now it's cutting out the holes for the rhinestones. And while that's being done, I'm going to go ahead and cut out the butterflies and the name in glitter. And so for glitter, the force is at 22, blade depth is 10, only 1 pass, and the speed is at 10 as well. So once everything is cut out, it's going to look like this. I have the rhinestone cut out and the butterflies and the name. And so now I'm just going to go ahead and start weeding everything. Okay, you guys, so I do have 4 pieces in total that I need to weed, and I'm not going to show them all on camera because some of them will take quite a bit of time. So I'm just going to go ahead and show you guys how I weed the butterfly, and then I'm going to skip through everything else. Okay, you guys, so we're back, and if you guys never weeded before, you always want to start pulling from the corners because it's a lot easier to just pull that outer edge up, and then you can kind of see a little better what you're working with, and then you can go in and then pull out those little details later. So for the inside, you can use a weeding tool if you like, but I just prefer to go in and just pull it out. If you just kind of bend the edge back a little bit, you'll kind of see the part pops up that needs to be pulled out. So it's just a lot easier for me to use my hands. But you guys are more than welcome to use a weeding tool if that's what you prefer to use. If you guys are interested in learning how I created any of these designs that you see today, please let me know and I can definitely drop a video for that. So I'm done with the butterfly. There it is. And I know it's upside down, you guys, so please forgive me, but yes, that's how it looks, and I really love this color pink. This is the name Amaya. And if you guys didn't know, Amaya is my niece. I do a lot of stuff for her, so you probably will see her name in a lot of the things that I'll be making because I do quite a bit of stuff for her. But I'm just showing you guys, this is everything that I've weeded so far, and I'm going to go ahead and throw my little trash away, and we'll go ahead and get started on the rhinestone portion. Okay, so now for the part that you guys have all been waiting for. I'm going to be using flock today. And normally I do use magic flock from the rhinestoneworld.com like I mentioned earlier, but I do not have any. So because I'm using regular flock, flock does not have a sticky backing, so it's not going to stick to the chalkboard like the magic flock would. So because of that, I'm going to be using some regular painter's tape, and I'm just using it to adhere my template to the chalkboard, and I'm going to be doing it for the name as well as these little pattern that I created over here. And just so you guys know what this pattern is, it's actually going to be like a scatter pattern. So I'm going to try to put like a scatter of rhinestones around the backpack, but you'll see what I mean later by that. So yes, you guys, being a crafter, you definitely have to be creative, and you have to just make it work sometimes because you might not have it and you still got to get the job done. So yes, it is what it is. So now that that part is done, we can get started. So I have my clear SS10 rhinestones that I get from the rhinestoneworld.com, my Rhinestone Scoop that I also got from the rhinestoneworld.com, and you guys will see what that is used for later. And then I have my paintbrush that I get from Home Depot. So you're going to start by pouring out the SS10 rhinestones onto the template, and you do want to use quite a bit because it does allow the rhinestones to go easier into the little holes. So you're going to use a paintbrush and just kind of do like circular motions, and you will see that the rhinestones will start falling into place. And if you see any that are upside down, just try to brush some more stones on top, and continue to do the circular motions, and it should go ahead and brush it out of place and brush a new one inside of that place. Now, the disadvantages to using this instead of the magic flock is sometimes you'll get pieces that won't turn the way that they're supposed to, so sometimes you do have to go in and manually fix them. But with this design being so small, you definitely don't have to worry about that, because if you do have to fix some, it's not going to be that many because the design is pretty tiny. So, and I did size this to fit on the front pocket of a backpack, so if you guys are wondering why is it so tiny, that's the reason. It's going on the front, so I don't need it to be that big because it's really not that much space that I'm working with. And if you guys are wondering what this type of design is, this is called a rhinestone name scatter design. And again, if you guys are interested in seeing how I created this design, please just let me know in the comments below, and I will be happy to create a video for you guys. So if you guys have never created a rhinestone design before, like, the first time is pretty kind of frustrating because, you know, things, you're kind of just getting used to it and things aren't really going the way that you wanted to. But like with anything, you know, it takes practice and you'll definitely get better at it. I feel like it's more time consuming than anything because, you know, the actual cutting portion takes the longest, because sometimes it does take the machine a minute to cut out all the holes, especially if you have a bigger design. So it's more just like being patient than anything, but it's really not difficult at all. So we do have this one done already, and everything pretty much went where we're supposed to. I don't really see a lot that I'll have to go in there and fix. I do see some extra diamonds that I might have to brush out, so I'll go ahead and try to get those now. And you can just brush over them and they should go ahead and slide out. But if it does push another one out, you might have to try to push it back in there with the brush if you can. And I think I can push this one in. Yep, it just went in there. So we're good on that. And I'm just double checking, making sure that everything's where it's supposed to be. This is the best time to fix any imperfections before you put the transfer tape on top. And normally I do have a list of supplies for you guys at the beginning of the video, but I did forget to include that. But not to worry, I will go ahead and list it in the description box below, just in case you guys are interested in picking up any of the supplies that I will be using in this video. Okay, you guys, so we're done with the name. Let me just go ahead and fix this little piece right here. And then I do have my transfer tape already pre-cut for this design. So let me go ahead and get that. As you see, I already cut it out to the piece that I'm going to be using. And normally I usually have some scraps, so I'll go ahead and use my scraps. And if it doesn't fit, like you see, I have this left over to the side, I'll go ahead and get another piece just to cover up that little bit that's left over. So we definitely reduce, reuse, recycle over here, because for a small design like this, it doesn't make sense for me to use a brand new piece of transfer tape when I can just use one that I've used before and it'll still get the same job done. So I'm just going to use my paintbrush to brush down the transfer tape to make sure that it adheres to each of the rhinestones. And you guys, you do have to use rhinestone transfer tape. You cannot just use regular transfer tape, because rhinestone transfer tape is made to withstand the heat and regular transfer tape is not. So if you try to use regular transfer tape, you will get ready to press it and it'll burn. So please make sure that you are using rhinestone transfer tape. So now I'm going to be using my Rhinestone Scoop. Now you guys can finally see what the Rhinestone Scoop is for. It's made for you to be able to brush the stones into it, and you can pour it wherever you like. And it's pretty much makes the pickup process a lot easier, because you don't have to pick them up by hand. You can just scoop them in here, and it has a little cork at the bottom. So I pretty much just put it over my bottle, and then I pull the cork out and all the rhinestones go back into the original container. So I really love this Rhinestone Scoop, and I always use it. And I just want to let you guys know that I am not sponsored by the Rhinestone World. They are not paying me any money for this video. I just really like the products that they provide, and they provide a lot of great tutorials for people who are new to learning how to do rhinestones. So that's another channel that you guys can check out if you're interested in learning more. But yeah, I just really like them, and I use their products, and I support them. So yes, they are not sponsoring this video though. Okay, so this is the cork that I was telling you guys about. You just pull it out, and I'm going to open up my little container. And I wish I could find more of these containers, but I cannot. But I did get these at Dollar Tree. But you just pull the cork out the bottom, and it's going to drop all the rhinestones back into the container. And then I'm just going to twist the lid back on. If you guys know where to get these little containers that you could twist the tops on, they're really made for snacks. Please let me know. I used to get them at Dollar Tree, but I cannot find them anymore. But I absolutely love them, especially for storing my rhinestones in, because you can put different size at the top and then a different size at the bottom. So, you know, I love it. Okay, so now let me just grab another piece of transfer tape for the rhinestone scatter that we just did. And this one I do not have pre-cut, so I'm just grab whatever I can find. And then I'll just have to cut it to where I need it to be. Okay, I found this piece right here. And I'm going to go ahead and push it down on top. Try to rub it with my hands as best as I can. And then I'm going to use the paintbrush. But I'm going to cut off these excess over here first. Okay, so now I'm going to cut this piece off. And I do see one rhinestone down here at the bottom that didn't get covered up. So I'm just going to cut off this little piece right here and put it over that rhinestone. And that was actually perfect for that. And then I'm just going to trim off this edge right here. And it really does not have to be perfect. It's not going to mess it up either way, but yeah, so I'm going to go ahead and brush it with the paintbrush because I really want to make sure that these rhinestones stick to this adhesive. Okay, so now we can go ahead and pull up the transfer tape. And when you pull it up, you do want to make sure that you're going nice and slow just in case any rhinestones get left behind. You can just pull the transfer tape back down like I just did and then press it with your finger, and it should go ahead and stick to the transfer tape. If your rhinestone does not stick to the transfer tape, you can always use the paintbrush and kind of put a little force on there, and it should go ahead and stick. Okay, so at this point, we have just created a rhinestone name scatter template, and people actually do purchase designs just like this. Maybe they don't have a cutting machine and they, want a design like this, so they'll actually come to you and ask you to create it for them. So that's actually a little side business that you could have as well if you like making rhinestone transfers. So just a little bonus tip there, but you do want to make sure that it's on the right size back, and I pretty much just put it on anything, but that's what it looks like. And you can just put it back on the original backing that it came on. And I'm going to do the same thing to the rhinestone scatter over here to my left. Okay, so we are all done prepping everything. Now it's time to get everything attached. This is the backpack that I was given by the customer, and it does have wheels on it. So because of that, I will have to use my iron to be able to adhere it. I won't be able to put it on my heat press like I was hoping to do, but they did provide the backpack. I didn't pay for it, and I did have to remove the logo on the front. So I'm going to first start by putting the name on it, and I do need to cut it out. So let me go ahead and do that first. And once I have it cut out, I can go ahead and iron it onto my backpack. But what I want to do first is go ahead and line this up with my rhinestone design, just to make sure that I am placing it in the right spot, because I don't want to put it up too high and then I get ready to put my rhinestones on and they're overlapping on the zipper. So I want to make sure everything is going to fit before I secure the name to the bag. So let me get that, and I'm just going to place it on top just so I can see where everything's going to line up at. And that looks pretty good. Let me adjust it just a little bit. Okay, so that looks pretty good to me. So I'm going to go ahead and get my Teflon sheet and place it on top. And then I'm going to get my iron and start ironing the name on. And you do have to put quite a bit of pressure on here because the heat press normally has its own pressure setting, but because we're doing it by hand, we have to make sure that we're applying the same amount of pressure as the heat press would. So you do want to make sure you're pressing down quite a bit. And I did use the cushion just to make sure that every part of my design is receiving equal pressure. So let me go ahead and pull the transfer tape off. And everything stays, so everything's good. And now I'm going to get this box that I got from the USPS. And I'm basically using this because I need like a firm surface. And I couldn't find anything that would fit, so I decided to use this. Like I say, you guys, you got to be creative. Use what you can find. And that's exactly what I did. And it fits perfectly inside this pocket. So I'm just using it just to provide me like a hard surface. So I'm lining up the rhinestones now. You do want to make sure it's lined up perfectly around the name because once these rhinestones adhere, you won't be able to remove them anymore. Unless you use like some type of vinyl remover or something, but we don't want to do none of that. So we want to get it right the first time. Okay, so once you feel like you have that secure, you want to go ahead and get your Teflon sheet and cover it up, and then get that iron and do the same thing as we did with the glitter. But I do have mine on a cotton setting, and if you feel like that doesn't work, you can always adjust it, go up or down, however you feel like you need to do. Just do whatever works for you, but I do have mine on the cotton setting. And because we are using an iron, you do want to hold it in one place for about 10 to 15 seconds and then move it to another spot. You don't want to just iron it. You have to leave it there and give that adhesive time to melt. So I have that done. So I'm going to go ahead and lift the transfer sheet, and everything looks good. Everything adhered. So I'm just going to cover it up one more time, and I'm going to hit it with the iron one more time. And at this point, if you want to move it around, you can because everything is secure. Okay, so now we have the glitter name and the rhinestone scatter completed. So I'm going to go ahead and remove my box and my cushion that I have on the inside. And just in case you guys are wondering, this foam is a heat resistant foam that I picked up from Joann's, and I used it to make the heat pillows for my shirts, so it is heat resistant. Okay, so let me turn the backpack around. This is what we have so far, and it is absolutely beautiful. I love it. So we're going to go ahead and move on to the top pocket, and we're going to do the same thing. I put the cushion in there, and now I'm adding the USPS box. So let me go ahead and get my butterflies that I'm going to be adding. I'm going to do the very big one in the middle, and then I think the other small ones I'm going to put off to the side. Okay, so now I'm going to be ironing on the big butterfly. And it's just the same process as we've done before. Okay, so I'm going to peel up the transfer tape, and I'm going to get my smaller butterfly, and I'm going to place it over here and iron that on. And then I'm going to get my other butterfly and place it on the opposite side over here. And you guys, I kind of just thought about what I wanted on the backpack as I went along, because the customer, she really didn't give me an idea on kind of what she wanted. She kind of just said, you know, I want her name on it, make it cute or whatever. So the whole idea and concept was mine. So I really didn't know where I wanted to go with it. I just knew I wanted to have rhinestones and pink butterflies. So that was kind of my concept. Okay, so now I'm just going to take the rhinestone scatter that we got earlier and figure out where I want to place everything. And my first idea was to kind of place it around the outskirts of the butterfly. but now I'm thinking that I want to put some in it as well. So it has these holes right here on each wing, so I'm going to put a rhinestone in each hole. And then I think I'm going to put some on the inside as well. And these holes just happen to be perfect for these rhinestones. And I didn't even think about that when I was creating the design. So that's absolutely crazy right there. So now I'm just kind of just finding different places on the black area to place the rhinestone. So now that I got it in those main spots on the butterfly, it really doesn't matter to me where I place it as long as it's kind of like all over the place. And I'm going to put some inside the smaller butterflies as well. And the reason why I'm not using the Teflon sheet right here is because I'm putting the rhinestones kind of all over the place, I want to actually see where I'm putting it at. And because it's brown, you can't exactly see through it. So that's the reason why I'm just kind of placing it on there. As long as I don't leave it on there too long, it won't burn the material. So now I think I'm going to go inside the wing and place a rhinestone on each side of it. But let me go ahead and add some more where I feel like it needs it first. And then I think I'm going to go back and place some inside the interior of the smaller wings. And then I think I'm going to put some inside of the bigger wings as well. I mean, you can never go wrong with rhinestones. The more the merrier. And I absolutely love it when I have customers that kind of tell me, you know, I just want you to design something, do it however you see fit, because that gives me the freedom to be, you know, as creative as I want with it. And that's kind of what I'm doing here. I'm just kind of figuring out what I like, what looks good, and, you know. So now I'm just placing a rhinestone on the inside of this interior part of the wing on the right side and the left side. So you guys, whenever you are using an iron, you want to make sure that you are, number one, using the right heat setting, and you do want to make sure that you are applying pressure, because a lot of times the rhinestones will go ahead and stick, and then when you get ready to, you know, use it over time, they'll go ahead and fall off because you didn't use a heat press like you should have used. But because of the wheels on the backpack, I wasn't able to use the heat press, but I am still going to be placing this on a heat press when I get done. I'm just going to use it on one of the loose settings where it's not going to be as tight. So it's going to hit it with the heat press, but it's not going to be like really, really firm pressure. It's going to be very, very light. And I'm going to make sure that I put the heat press on 335 degrees. And that's because I want to make sure that none of these rhinestones fall off. You know, she's a little girl. She's going to be going to school. It's going to be getting scraped up, you know, and I want to make sure every single rhinestone stays intact. Okay, so I think I'm done placing the rhinestones. For the finale, I'm going to go ahead and cover it with a Teflon sheet and hit it with the iron one last time. And I'm going to make sure I'm holding it in place for at least 10 to 15 seconds on each spot, because I want to make sure that that adhesive melts on those rhinestones. Okay, so I think everything is good. I'm going to take the cardboard box out and the foam that I put inside the pocket. So I did later decide to add some pink butterflies to the side pockets. This is how everything turned out. I really hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, please share, like, comment, and subscribe, and I will see you guys in the next one.